Today, on Be Something Wonderful, my new story is the only reality. I am your host, Kearin, and this is the Be Something Wonderful studio of higher consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Creators, welcome back. Here we are, broadcasting from Victoria Falls, Zimbabwe. I have a powerful lesson today in video. This is based on an email that I actually received late last night. And this is a powerful story. And when I say story, I mean story, life story, a story of a new reality. This is a client that I spoke with about a year ago. I think it was just after the channel really blew up. And her story back then was that I'm from a broken family, right? She was homeless. She was staying with different friends, right? Borrowing money. She was working in the service industry. And she really wanted to go to university. She wanted to go to college. She wanted to study and build a great career. But her story was, I have no opportunity to go to college. I don't have any money. I'm homeless. I'm staying with different people. And she kept getting back to this, her family and her upbringing and her story of that it was broken. Right? She even used that word. In other words, what is she really saying? What was her story back then? I am broken. Everything came from that lens. Right? Then, and then even back then she said, you know, it's hard for me to imagine it. It's hard for me to imagine. I go, don't imagine it then. Don't try to imagine it, in other words, right? Don't effort to imagine anything, right? Instead, tell the new story, right? Tell the new story from that place of truth within you, because that I am within you, that is the only truth. And as you tell, all realities exist, all possibilities exist. As you tell that story, that becomes your only reality. So that's what we talked about. And we're going to unpack this more. I have a session with her next week, so we'll have to see what else she has to say. Her new story became I am. Not I am broken, not that I am my past, not that I'm not lucky, right? She even talked about this idea. She mentioned in the email that she was saying she just felt like she was not lucky. Right? We got past all that. Her story became, I'm blessed, I'm fulfilled, I'm loved unconditionally. I'm surrounded by people and family that love me, right? God's got me. A year later, I'm getting chills with this one, guys. This is big. A year later, she's an au pair for a beautiful family, and they're paying her university, they're paying her tuition, and paying for her room and board, and even money so she can have things to spend on whatever she wants. She has her own place, a guest house, right, on the property. And she says in an email, back then, I couldn't even imagine it. I couldn't imagine it. Right, you couldn't imagine it, but you did, and you told the new story in your imagination. As she told that new story, that became her process, that became her life. I want to unpack this like we never have before, because this is big. We've talked about telling a new story, but this is cool. And I want to start with Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. I've used this before, but I just think it's perfect. I could tell you I could tell you my adventures beginning from this morning, but it's no use going back to yesterday because I was a different person then. This is such a great quote. It's not just a cliche that you can't go back to yesterday, but that yesterday doesn't exist. There's only now, and there's only the story you're telling now. Who are you, right? That's why it's no use to going back to yesterday. She's no longer that story, that broken person from that broken family. It's a new story. Even her relationships with her family that she told the story was broken has improved, right? She's no longer looking through that lens. Your story is the only reality. Tell your story in the now moment from a place of truth within, right? Just tell it from a place of truth right now, right? It's not about believing. It's not about living delusionally. It's none of that. All realities exist within that I am, within you, right? Always tell it as you would like things to be, no matter what. From the ideal, not idea, ideal version of you, or from the idea of you, but the ideal version of you. This is what she did. And the only truth, remember, the only truth, the only facts, the only story is what you say it is. And that became her reality, right? Think of this. She's got her own place in a guest house. The college is paid for. She's going to university, right? She's living that life that she couldn't imagine, but told the story of it anyway. This is so powerful. The only reality is I am, right? Who do you say I am? I bring this up all the time. Jesus asking his disciples, right? And them answering, right? John the Baptist, others say Elijah, still others Jeremiah, or one of the prophets, or I'm broken, right? That story, right? But Jesus goes, but what about you? Forget about those conditions. Forget about that old story that you're broken. Forget about all that. Forget about those temporary thoughts and feelings of doubt and fear that I can't do this. Forget all those conditions, inner and outer. And go to that I amness. Go to the story of who you really are. In other words, what's your story? That's what Jesus was asking. You are not 3D conditions. You are not your thoughts. I even crossed out your. You're not thoughts. You're not feelings. You are the awareness and consciousness in which those stories appear. Because that's all those thoughts, feelings, and conditions are. They're ideas. They're stories in linear time. They're stories in that horizontal reality. They're not reality. You are. Wow. Right? You are the awareness and consciousness in which these stories appear. So powerful. And then finally, the disciples answer him. Simon Peter answers him, you are the Christ, the Son of the living God. I always get chills when I say that. You are the Christ, the Son of the living God. You are that I am, right? Tell your story from the place of truth within, that I am story, right? That's the real story. That's the true story. And remember what Neville Goddard says. I've said this in many videos now, right? As we control our inner talking, matching it to our fulfilled desires. In other words, just matching it to our fulfillment that we are, right? We can lay aside all other processes, right? I couldn't imagine it, she said, but she could tell that story, right? Through controlled inner talking, from premises of fulfilled desire, seeming miracles are performed. Neville got it. Through controlled inner talking, just telling that story, that new story of who you are. From premises of fulfilled desire, seeming miracles are performed. Right? I am are all desires are fulfilled in I am. There's only unity. There's only now. There's only fulfillment. Tell that story. Right? The I am story is that all desires are fulfilled. There's only unity. There's only now. And there's only fulfillment. That became her story. Wow. So powerful. Tell the true story behind the changing, or in other words, behind the unreality of thoughts, feelings, people, events, and circumstances. None of that was true. She wasn't broken, right? And those conditions were temporary, fleeting. She moved. Remember, the future becomes the present and reveals itself in our inner speech. This is what she did. She made the future now, right? Our lives may seem to be broken by events, but they are never broken so long as we retain the inner speech of fulfilled desire. Hear this. I love what Neville's saying here. We do look at life as broken events. Again, broken, right? Perfect for this client, perfect for this video. We look at it in fragments, fragmented portions of less than 0.0001%, less than 1% of manifested reality. We look at that, we tell a story around it, an incomplete story. It's not the holiness or the wholeness of who you are. She was telling that incomplete, broken, fragmented story of who she thought she was, right? Broken by events, right? But stop fragmenting reality, right? That 0.0001% of physical manifested reality. Start telling your whole story, the holy story of who you are, of fulfillment. And fulfillment is all you will see. Like A Course in Miracles says, if you want only love, love is all you'll see. Start telling that story of fulfillment, and that's all you see. My new story is the only reality. Wow, powerful. Stay tuned, more coming. I am your host, Tom Kearin, and this is the Be Something Wonderful studio of Higher Consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Creators, thank you. Thank you for being with me. Thank you for liking and sharing and commenting on the videos. Thank you for being a part of our Facebook group at the Be Something Wonderful Ambassadors at facebook.com/groups. facebook.com/besomethingwonderful. Also join us on Instagram and Twitter at Tom Kearin. And we have a membership channel where there's more content. Just released a video a few days ago, very powerful video, and also more live streams coming on the membership channel. There's a link below if you would like to join, and thank you for joining if you have. And guys, I just want to say thank you. More content's coming, more powerful content from here, maybe tomorrow, but I think tomorrow we're on the road. We're going back to South Africa, and I'm going to be in Cape Town. So I think the next video will be coming from Cape Town. With great love, with great light, and infinite gratitude, this is Tom with Be Something Wonderful Creators. We'll see you soon.